A lot of people are talking about socialism these days. Why? Many people believe it will make our country better. Why? Because socialism claims to be more compassionate. It promises greater equality between the powerful and the powerless, and more wealth for the working class. But how does socialism go about actually fulfilling its promise? In the last 10 decades, we've seen nearly 40 countries across the world experience socialism. And in each of these countries, we see the same practices consistently repeated. We see socialist governments seizing control of private property. We see socialist governments seizing control of the entire economy, from the smallest street vendors to the biggest businesses. We see governmental control of healthcare and education, literally our bodies and our minds. We see basic freedoms disappear, like freedom of speech and freedom of religion. We see some of the worst human rights abuses known to history. Over and over again, we see socialist governments abusing the lives and rights of citizens in their efforts to create equality. So, has socialism ever succeeded in its promise of greater equality? When the Bolshevik Party seized power in Russia, it took possession of everything: land, buildings, products. The government dictated your profession, and the politically powerful hoarded the best jobs. Permission from the government was required to change jobs or move to a new house. Anyone who resisted socialism, from petty criminals to political dissidents, was sent to the hellish gulag prisons. And despite the Soviet Union's staggering production of missiles and tanks, there were constant food shortages, and every other facet of the planned economy failed. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Today, Cuba is the clearest picture of modern socialism. Fidel Castro seized all private property after taking power in 1959. Cuba proudly touts free healthcare for everyone, but the reality is that only the most politically well-connected receive quality care, and many minorities are denied basic medical treatment. There's also a maximum wage, which means even doctors only earn 38 cents an hour. And while Cuba has an impressive literacy rate, most of the reading is limited to party propaganda, as free speech and independent media are banned. Meanwhile, anyone who opposes the government is harassed, detained, kept from their families, and often brutally beaten. Socialism has proven time and time again that it cannot deliver on its promises. Instead of creating greater equality and a better life for all, socialism has always resulted in failed economies, police states, and great loss of life. The reality of socialism does not match the picture in our minds. These are not the results we want. So the question we must ask is socialism truly the best way to pursue greater equality and prosperity?